A very lovely evening to you. Thank you for joining us on Kwara State Television. That would me on the languages there. I beg your pardon? Michael Kastaka.
Thank you, I'm Funke Olutimile, and we have on the languages desk.
Yakubu Lozi ngani look at the bana be agambe la baji daga television shi kwana ce fuyen ya kwata ya kubai lori abun nan sunami abed percent tampa fu ya ta kwaci da bi kakaina Suleiman ko Lozi
da ekale àsìkò iṣẹ́ láti àtàárọ̀ ìròyìn ní ọpọ́ tó ń sọkàn láti lè ṣe mú márùn tó kalẹ̀ sí àpáta Yakuba nílùú Ìlọrin Suleiman Amudani ìròyìn wa fún ti tàṣálẹ́ ìní ẹkú kalẹ̀.
You can watch us live on Facebook, Kwara TV, on Star Times 113, Free TV 502. You can also check us out on YouTube. Moving on to the news, Vice President Kashim Shettima today led top government officials in releasing pigeons at the 2026 Armed Forces Remembrance Day, Armed Forces Remembrance and Celebration Day ceremony, and a symbolic gesture representing Nigeria's commitment to peace, unity, and freedom. In a video shared, Communications Office of the Vice President, Stanley Mocha. Today, the Vice President was joined by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, among others, at the solemn event. The pigeons released as part of the traditional ceremony immediately flew away in what observers described as a remarkable display symbolizing the values for which Nigeria's fallen heroes made the ultimate sacrifice. Armed Forces Remembrance and Celebration Day is observed annually on January 15 to honor members of the Nigerian Armed Forces who paid supreme price in line of duty, particularly those who fought in various conflicts, including the Nigerian Civil War, peacekeeping missions, and the ongoing fight against terrorism.
And also, Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State has disclosed that insecurity is a major challenge Nigeria is currently facing. Makinde made this disclosure during the grand finale and laying of wreaths of the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. Report says that the event was held at Lake Salami Sports Complex at the Matimba in Ibadan, the state capital, on Thursday. Governor Makinde, while addressing the gathering, noted that Nigeria is passing through a challenging time, saying that efforts are being taken to tackle the challenges. He described the recent cleaning of the forest rangers at Old Oyo National Park as unfortunate. Makinde maintained that the state government is planning to provide assistance to the families of the deceased. He used the opportunity to thank security personnel for what he described as a good job, adding that the state government will continue to support security agencies to ensure peace and tranquility in the state.
And also in Ondo State, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has reiterated that the security of lives and property remains a top priority of his administration, stressing that peace and safety are the foundation upon which economic growth, social stability, and development thrive. The governor, who made this declaration while speaking during the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day ceremony in Akure, said that the peace being enjoyed in the state is the result of deliberate investment in security architecture, strong collaboration among security agencies and communities. He warned that government alone cannot guarantee security without the active participation of citizens, describing security as a shared responsibility that begins at the community level. He urged residents to remain vigilant, security conscious, and proactive in reporting suspicious movements and activities to relevant authorities, noting that timely information remains the most effective tool and for preventing crime and averting crisis. Aiyedatiwa, while commending the armed forces, police and other security agencies, including the Amotekun Corps, described their sacrifices and professionalism as central to the state's status as one of the most peaceful states in the country. He assured them of the government's continued support while also reaffirming his administration's commitment to policies that protect innocent citizens and safeguard public and private assets.
Away from the Armed Forces Remembrance and Celebration Day, the leadership of the Nigeria Union of Pensioners in Ekiti State has cried out over the maltreatment of the members by the Ekiti State government. Chairman of the Nigeria Union of Pensioners, Temitope Pokuola, lamented that his members are seriously suffering due to irregular payment of the gratuities, check-off dues, and other benefits. In his address titled The Agony of Pensioners, Pokuola alleged that Ekiti pensioners are the least paid in the country, adding that many of them are currently being subjected to untoward hardship due to the inability to receive their gratuities. He alleged that many people in power have shielded them from seeing the governor, saying he had written over 10 different letters to seek the audience of the governor to no avail. The NUP chairman appealed to Governor Oyebanji to prevail on his people to stop using his influence and government power to promote illegalities. Walla said members of NUP would not be dismayed and would continue to fight for the rights of members without fear or compromise.
The recent announcement of granting conditional amnesty to 70 suspected bandits by the Katsina State government has continued to generate concerns among Nigerians. The decision, according to the state peace and security across 15 terrorist-prone areas of the state. Hawao Dauda spoke to some residents to sample their opinion on the developments. Her reports.
Following an official letter by the Katsina State government which directed courts to approve the release of 70 suspected bandit detainees, the decision, which has sparked widespread public criticisms with many Nigerians questioning why suspects accused of criminality such as killings, rapes, kidnappings and destructions of property were being freed by the state government. Some respondents who spoke to Kwara TV News said it is a better decision for government as long as the bandits are released in exchange for the citizens held in captivity, pointing out that lack of proper education contributes to all forms of criminalities. They emphasize that amnesty for bandits is in two ways, the good and the bad part. Stress that amnesty may be given when you have something to take from terrorists and ensure time is in the essence.
Release people. That is a better decision for government because they don't want our people to be kids that are bandits. Many of them are not bandits because they decided to become a bandit. They become a bandit because they don't have a proper education.
Amnesty for bandits is in two ways. There is the good part, there is the bad part. Amnesty, when you have something to take from them and you are sure time is in the essence, so the amnesty may be given.
However, these respondents blamed government for granting amnesty to serial killers who have destroyed countless lives and properties.
It's uncalled for. Why are you giving them the amnesty? You are killing people, wasting the life of the people. Why?
Our respondents urge government at all levels to curb insecurity across the country.
Education. You need to let the kids know that they have to take biro, they have to take pen, not guns.
They should do all that they can. They should try their best possible to see to it that they curb all this insecurity.
It will be recalled that Katsina State government on 12th of January 2026 announced its decision to release 70 suspected bandits as a result of peace deal positive results. Hawao Dauda, Kwara TV News.
Nigeria's Minister of Defense, Christopher Musta, says porous borders are fueling the country's insecurity crisis. In an interview, Musa disclosed that the federal government is exploring measures, including border walls and advanced technology to prevent illegal crossings that allow terrorists, bandits, and kidnappers to operate across Nigeria. He noted that while building a physical wall across all of Nigeria's more than 4,000 kilometers of land borders may not be feasible, technology can help monitor movement and trigger alarms when people cross illegally. The former chief of defense staff added that other countries with even longer borders have implemented similar measures successfully. Musa said the government plans to work closely with communities near the borders to ensure residents understand their roles in stopping terrorists. We go on a short break now. Join us after the timeout for more news items.
Welcome back. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has commended the federal government and members of the renegotiation committee involved in the signing of the 2025 ASU-FG agreement while expressing concerns over its eventual implementation. The new agreement, which replaces the 2009 pact, was signed on 23 December and formally unveiled. Speaking at the unveiling and signing ceremony, ASU President Chris Piwuna, a professor, praised the government's negotiation team led by the Pro-Chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Yayali Ahmed, for steering the process to completion. Professor Piwuna, however, noted that despite the agreement, the union remains cautious given past experiences with government implementation. He expressed hope that the union would not be forced to issue a strike threat for the full implementation of the 2025 ASU-FGN renegotiated agreements. The new agreement introduced a 40% increment for academic staff as well as 1.7 million naira annual allowance for professors and 840,000 naira for readers. It also reviewed the remuneration for earned academic allowances, including postgraduate supervision, fieldwork, clinical duties, moderation, examination responsibilities, and leadership roles within the tertiary education system.
In a bid to evaluate, monitor, and get feedback of life skills component project implementation in schools, the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment Agile Project Kwara State, in collaboration with Olive Community Development Initiative, has organized a 2-day review meeting for mentors selected across the 3 senatorial districts of the state. Fatima Mohammed was at Igbono, the venue of the event, which took place in Oyun local government area, and filed in this report.
The Kwara State Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment, Agile, partnered the Olive Community Development Initiative, a non-governmental organization, with a view to engaging stakeholders and mentors of life skills subcomponent projects in schools. The engagement is, among other things, targeted at evaluating and reviewing the implementation of the Safe Space project in the last 1 year. In her remarks, the project director, Olive Community Development Initiative, Oluwatoyin Adeleke, disclosed that the meeting was designed to interact with the stakeholders in order to get feedback on the successes recorded so far while implementing the project.
Now we are here to review all the activities we did in year 1, look at the impact, discuss with the mentors what are the challenges, what are the gaps, so that it can guide our implementation in the second year.
Corroborating our view, Kwara Agile Life Skills Subcomponent Lead Haminat Yusuf emphasized that the review was necessary to ascertain the next plan of action and devise new modalities for implementing the next phase of the project.
We created safe spaces in 100 senior secondary schools, and for each of the 100 schools we have 3 mentors. So we picked 1 mentor from each of the 16 local governments.
On their parts, mentors of the Safe Space project gave accounts of their success stories in the various schools.
Programs have helped my students a lot, being the special students.
Cases investigated by our team, by the mentors.
There was 3 boys from SS1 and 3 girls from GSS 3. So these 3 boys impregnate 3 girls from GSS 3.
Agile has added up value since inception and is still going to add up value to the education system. So it's a plus. It is a plus. And I want at this point also thank Agile for the wonderful work.
The event had in attendance representatives of religious groups, community associations, civil society, school principals, and mentors drawn from the 16 local government areas of the states. Fatima Mohammed, Kwara TV News.
The National Youth Service Corps NYSC says it will adopt a distinct protocol for handling corps members with disabilities. In a statement, the Director of Information and Public Relations of the scheme, Caroline Booth, said that the Director General of NYSC, Olakule Nafi, who spoke at the 2026 batch, a pre-orientation workshop in Plateau State, disclosed the protocol will be implemented starting from the orientation course till the completion of their service year. It said the initiative is part of the scheme's welfare strategies for corps members, focusing on dignity, inclusion, and equal opportunity. NAFU maintained that the orientation course must continuously reflect national realities and global best practices. The NYSCDG also urged participants to develop creative ideas that can positively affect the corps members' operational efficiency and institutional intelligence.
President Bola Tinubu's government on Thursday, January 15, 2026, withdrew the criminal suit filed at the Federal Capital Territory FCT High Court against Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. The development brings an end to the defamation case instituted by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation against the lawmaker representing Kogi Central Senatorial District. Report indicated that the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation filed a notice of discontinuance, prompting the court to formally strike out the criminal defamation and related charges earlier brought against the lawmaker. The charges, which generated intense public debate around freedom of expression and political accountability, arose from comments made by the senator during a televised interview. The notice of discontinuance, dated December 12, 2025, brought proceedings in the suit to an end. Presiding over the matter, Justice Oji acknowledged the notice and accordingly struck out the case, noting that the development underscored the need for restraint in the exercise of prosecutorial powers. Reacting after the court session, Senator Natasha Uduaghan described the outcome as a vindication of her position and an affirmation of democratic values.
The Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Speaker Martin Amewele, failed to resume plenary today, a week after adjourning its last sitting. Report says that during its first sitting in 2026, held last Thursday, the House had commenced impeachment proceedings against Governor Simi Fubara and his deputy Ngozi Odu over alleged gross misconduct, including the demolition of the State Assembly complex, among other charges. Reports has it further that there was no sign that the House, which presently holds sittings at the conference hall of its official legislative quarters along Gaba Road, will reconvene. No official explanation has been provided for the delay, nor a resumption date for resumption announced as at the time of filing this report.
Students of Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma, were arrested and remanded at the Ubaja Correctional Center over a recent protest have been released, and alongside other detainees. A statement released today by the Chief Press Secretary to Edo State Governor Patrick Bosley said the students were among 52 persons remanded by a Benin High Court on charges of bordering on malicious damage and armed robbery as a result of peaceful protests against insecurity in Epoma last Saturday, which later turned violent. Meanwhile, Governor Okpebholo met with the released students and other affected persons during a stakeholders engagement at the Government House, Benin, where he assured them of his administration's commitment to dialogue, reforms, and the development of Ambrose Ali University. The governor, who was pained by the violence, said his administration increased the subvention to 500 million as part of efforts to reposition the university. Okpebholo acknowledged security challenges facing Epoma and other parts of the country, describing insecurity as a collective problem. He cautioned students against allowing them to be used by criminal elements, urging them to focus on their studies and pursue peaceful engagement.
The Nigerian Armed Forces, comprising Army, Navy, and Air Force, currently has a posted strength of almost 250,000 men and women. We'll bring you a special report on the commemoration of the 2026 Armed Forces Remembrance Day in our subsequent bulletin as Kwara TV News takes a look at the organization of the Nigerian Armed Forces. We'll go for a very short break. When we come back, we'll have business, sport, and even around the world. Please stay with us.
You're welcome back. And on business, Nigeria expects its economy to grow by 4.68% in 2026, supported by easing inflation, improved foreign exchange stability, and continued fiscal reforms. The projection was outlined by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Wale Edun, during the launch of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group and ESG 2026 Macroeconomic Outlook Report in Lagos on Thursday. Edun stated that Nigeria has moved beyond the crisis management phase of recent years and has now entered a period of economic consolidation where stability translates into growth, jobs, and improved living standards. The minister disclosed that the 2 years of difficult reforms have helped stabilize key macroeconomic indicators, creating a platform. Mr. Edun added that Nigeria cannot afford to pause or retreat from its reform agenda, adding that the success of the consolidation phase would determine whether recent gains deliver productive jobs and shared prosperity.
And on sports, the Super Eagles of Nigeria out of the AFCON 2025 finals after a 2-4 penalty defeat against the host Morocco on Wednesday, January 14, 2026. Kwara TV News spoke with football fans in Ilorin, the capital, who expressed their disappointment over the loss. Abdul Latif Ahmed report is presented from our studios.
In the heartbreaking turn of events at the ongoing African Cup of Nations 2025 in Morocco, the Super Eagles have been eliminated from the tournament following a tense semi-final clash against the host nation, Morocco. The highly anticipated match, played Wednesday, January 14, 2026, ended in a goalless 0-0 draw after 90 minutes of regular time and an additional 30 minutes of extra time. With neither side able to break the deadlock, the match went to penalties, where Morocco emerged victorious with a 4-2 win. Morocco's goalkeeper, Yassine Bounou, was the hero of the night, producing crucial saves to deny Samuel Chukwueze and Bruno Onyemaechi. Some football fans who spoke with Kwara TV News in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, commended the players and the coach for an impressive performance against the hosts. However, they said that Nigeria lost the match due to bad officiating from the referee, who they believe favored Morocco.
I really got fed up about the match when the referee was actually siding the whole Moroccan team. You understand? Like, the whole team, they actually did well. They did well. That's just all I have to say. We did our best.
They played well, but on the penalty aspect of the match, those two guys that missed the penalty, well, I won't say they are bad players. They are good players too, but it's just anybody's game. Win a penalty, that's it.
Say the Nigeria Super Eagles, they really play a lot. I can say a lot. They play with their whole heart. We need to appreciate them and then commend them for that well done job.
Nigeria will play the third place match of the AFCON 2025 competition against Egypt on Saturday, 17th January 2026.
Happening around the world shows that Ugandan opposition candidate Bobi Wine has slammed the internet shutdown in the country as the country conducts its presidential election. Uganda's internet was shut down Tuesday by the government communications agency, which cited misinformation, electoral fraud, and incitement of violence. The shutdown affected the public and disrupted critical sectors. Uganda's presidential election was reportedly flooded by widespread delays, the move which has been criticized as an anti-democratic tactic. President Yoweri Museveni, 81, faces 7 other candidates, including Bobi Wine, who is calling for political change in the country. Report from Uganda wraps up the news tonight. But before we move to our languages desk, and we have Ahmed Kwasanata waiting for the Labari. Kubetu.
Yaji, Gawamu. Ganchi ya tukpashi ya Labari ni jimidi alabe ya gani be ejimi enu pena misumi na la ina bia ina yi Ahmed Kwasanata mkafu. Baden pipa na de ala shishi gan wi efo pipa. Nya efo soja ya kunguchi na ide niki na manza na jide niki ya kundona. Nina tishi shaba tishi yake Nigeria abun Kashim Shetima gan be gwa fian za na kin dede anakin banade adala alama de tula etie bipe ya lukuku na jide akpechi gaya no na unbe etie wato etie edufe lafiya ya gwa fike ba gan be fifo ya kin Nigeria bayan foto video na de tiya daga bayan za shawara ci ya labari ji dai to gangbaje na ni me ofishin sha bayan tishin yakin babu nan gaga stele okoncho ni me ya talata alami fo da filin ba kuda nan take dai da sha bayan tishin yakin babu na dai yi zani na dai gikini gani ake ba gani be tishi musa sha bayan kata shara ci ko nan godwill akpabio ake ba gani be shamba yan kadashawa titengi to Benjamin Kalu ato za chiko kaka kai da na mucho no lukuku na da apia na lawo kede yi alada da na de sunina kwa na pata ando de gaya na shi lawo kede yi efu etian people yan so ndia kunguchi na ide nikin ya kundo no kimbabun na bayan raya na de alaji kini no ni me yelo ga pade efuna na lashi na ngadi mbeje de twa fogwegi twa mo fariyan ya pepa soja ya kunguchi de kwangwandondo ni me ken Nigeria abuna emide na ngai gan emi ya fucho ya abuna de gwamnati yake Katsina de ya ci gan zaji de na roza rai de adwa ni na ci banditi na ala pe akataji ko na gan a de fufo daga de gwata ya gwa abuna mu yi na ba ni kin kwara abuna to Nigeria abu bane na mu la ke location ya ga de be da yan ban za an gijo nan wana e ba na tula na gede mu ci na de ajin da na so gana a gan a ci mu ci lelo e ba na de ala ya do fi da fi ade be kwangwa mu ci no hawa udada na de ku labari na ye kana latula kede bayan wasi kana de tula ci ya mi ko abuna kede gwamnati yankin Katsina za de ne lo adwa ne da yan bandit ne na muga ne de alugwa be akataji ko na mo be bayan kendo ne de bayan ga ke location ga ne de tula no daga ba misun da kin Nigeria abu ne kede kiutata dojin na cha be yuno ngai ga zanna jina de a de wagan be biya sakpaji ke wu rai miti jina to za yi wona to ndo ci de lo a ci na jide goya na kiutata a ci ga lamu ci ga aga kya kata ko gan a de fufu no nan mu ci nan gwamnati yankin Katsina jinan ujina da kuma amma sashen zanu shi ne bala gan be gi labari yin latula kide nan na jida nan gan lo bayan dan tan wi gan yana de ala en filafiya be ne be gwasan babu ya zanu ci ne de fi gwata bu amma ci ya na ga ya be ke aga ya za na jide ya nan to a so ya za na jide an wa fi gwata bu na aga ya na ma zanu ci ma agwa ta kide dagba ne wale gan jijiyan na wajin be kanu ci ko gbo wani genu yo be ma maji na gyanan amma ya gafa ne ba zanu ci latula kide etele fila a gwamnati kide unna da ajida na dana goya abuna zane shi adde mabbe tabiya mana na ji aji kine eti rai kama rai za angi jono chilugo du fela fela kitata a cha be gan aga ya gbani no to iga pa wale gan fochira abun nan ga ga gwamnati yakin Katsina fra fogo ba ya tsaye na ifin ba ko da na nye ya na wuli ya mikede a za rai ne de ne bandit ne ne ra ga ga eza adwani na ai ala kwa ya kataji ko na de a de fufu da gwata ba abun nan je minista ne de lai na etun soja gun ku je kim Nigeria abun nan ga Christopher Musa gbani de aga ne kede kim nungwa boda yankin Nigeria abu ne de la don wangi ana ulugwa edufe lafiya biya abu na kamin dondon wi na de chichilu waju lafitine de biya na e bayan e gagbe ce ya she gagbe na Musa latula kide gwamnati yakin ta cha wi began be bici na de alugwa mun ga gan karayen kim mun ga shide na dai a ga tuna ko ga ga tutu cina tuna mu be yan gagiyan zaman da shi na dai abe za ta biya sapa na dai a ce daga na kagwa kamin dondo na dai to bandit ne ke ba to zare yi wa rubu shi da wannan na dai a dibwa gadan kin Najeriya bona mun la ga na to ga le ke dai abe ke aga tutu ka na ji tuna kaga tuna dai wa biciyan ga kwa kilomita kpotun dagun nina wale gan to sun yana la alherin dondo bia ebona kiyo side on ibe nga gini de afela chan le kwangwan dondo ebo egwa kan tabia sapa yo na alugwa zando chine de ukunci je daya nan agada kiyan yiwa nan ngai gan zani tishin na de je tishin sa go soja kungo ci wile go kin babu nana mun lo gan be kiran to na dai kabide kin na dai kin ba ne wa kin Najeriya ba na le kama nungwa ji kabide mu de na wale de da wanja wale gan zuzo ga biya egwa kan de waya tabiya sapa na jana musama ti ma ji kin kide dagba no shirbi shiri laji de eluanin de gan be egwa fin zando ne de le mi so ba nu mujina na nga basuko a ji kin etien de do ya na da akangwa be egwa fike be ya tabiya sapa ni de kin babu nan gwala gindo cha na jide Allah shishi etien uwa kike to ka jode yiburo ya gin za gina jide addasa a ce yallo mun kanta nan ga igan na de be daga gwala gindo ci na de igan adolescent girls initiative for learning and empowerment ajai na yin kongo yakin kwara abuna gan be gwa fin mi company ndo shi na de ne gan olive company na community na gba ni abega ajin kan yen fogu bando ci etie edufela etie edufe na de ala yeboro ci atun we kan ci ya kwangwa yakini kwara abuna na ma ngai na de aku ezaide ka kai ne kwangwa jo ni mi ka gum tengide gwegbe na fi kin kwara abuna Fatima Mohammed na de dan ejina de gan igbonna na ba na de ajin kan mitin na wo shi we wu ni mi ka gum tengye onyo na latula kide ni mi elu gwalagin na wale gan alwe zanu cheka ba mu shinu ga gan tishe nusa ya director ni na gan gwalage to ma Olive Community Development no ga gan Oluwa Tony Adeleke na latula kide kan ya mitin na ga gan ya tiya chichilolo ya sashiyan ya tuna ide alo ya a chade zoge wangina ya tiya golo de gwalage ngai gan gwalage ya lilashi shin ajai nono be kya china kelo keji da banon ba soko a de mawe du filafiya gan be lira shirin mu shina nimi zumatu ga sun bobe ba nimi zani be na ke tishi ni ya ga ga Aminatu Yusuf ya gwala yankin Kwara abun to mu so gwala take de cicile lo sashi na jide gwala gya na jide da so gitu ba no to bishila woro na ja nga yi na de gba ni agbaza tu ganan shala mawe du filafiya de biya mawe egin zagi na jide da san acha kwalo katuman kanta yana ibo nan ai wagan igbo dabo ya gi zagi ji aibe na da lacha de zo mawe du fe rayuwa ya jana ni me zanna ke gagabe nan ngai gan ti gola gi na biya to so latu le kede ya gba na gola gi ka na a de so ge so kon gwa jo lo e ba sisa tuna jide ya fe latula man kanta yo kakan ya amfani na dan dabo to pikewa egiyan man kanta zagi shi nan gogoram da labi agan be ejimiyan num piano don ki adama Suleiman na gbagan be ejimiyan agina Suleiman
Ahmed Pasana akuse láti àtàrọ̀ ìròyìn fún ti tàṣálẹ́ ìní ẹ máa bá wa ká lọ. Igbákejì ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà Kashim Shettima lónìí ti darí àwọn alẹ́nulọ́rọ̀ nídìí iṣẹ́ ọba láti jọ̀wọ́ ìtúsílẹ̀ ẹyẹlé láti fi ṣe àmì ayẹyẹ àyájọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àjọ ológun ilẹ̀ wa fún ọdún 2026 èyí tó ṣàfihàn ìfarajìn ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà sídìí àlàáfíà ìṣọ̀kan àti òmìnira rẹ̀. Àtẹ̀jáde ìgbàtinú fọ́nrán fídíò kan látọwọ́ olùrànlọ́wọ́ pàtàkì sí ààrẹ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ìròyìn àti ìbáraẹnisọ̀rọ̀ ní ọ́fíìsì igbákejì ààrẹ Stanley Nwucha lónìí sọ wípé igbákejì ààrẹ ló kọ̀wọ́rìn pẹ̀lú ààrẹ ilé ìgbìmọ̀ asòfin àpapọ̀ ìyẹn Godswill Akpabio tó fi mọ́ igbákejì ààrẹ ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣojúṣòfin ilé wa Benjamin Kalu àti àwọn jàǹkànjàǹkàn mìíràn tó péjú síbi ètò ọ̀hún. Ìtúsílẹ̀ ẹyẹlé náà ló wà lára ètò ayẹyẹ èyí tí ẹyẹlé náà fi fò lọ gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn olóyè ti ṣàpèjúwe rẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí àfihàn iyì tó ń ti àpọ́nlé tí orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ní fún àwọn akọni lójú ogun tó ṣiṣẹ́ takuntakun látàrí fífi ara wọn rúbọ fún ilẹ̀ wa Nàìjíríà. Ẹ̀wẹ̀ àyájọ́ ọjọ́ ìrántí àwọn ológun ló sábà máa ń wáyé ní gbogbo ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dógún oṣù kínní láti fi sàmì ìrántí àwọn ọmọ ogun ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà tó ti ṣe ohun mánigbàgbé nídìí iṣẹ́ wọn pàápàá jùlọ àwọn tó ti jagun lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan bí ogun abẹ́lé orílẹ̀-èdè yìí àti ìjà tako ìgbésùnmọ̀mí tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́ ní orílẹ̀-èdè yìí àti àwọn nǹkan mìíràn tó farapẹ́. Ìkéde kòpẹ́kòpẹ́ yìí lórí ìgbésẹ̀ ìtúsílẹ̀ lórí ìbojú àánú wo ni fún àwọn afurasí agbésùnmọ̀mí tí iye rẹ̀ tó 70 látọwọ́ ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Katsina ló ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní rí àríwísí látẹnu àwọn ọmọ ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà. Ìgbésẹ̀ yìí gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìjọba ti wí ló wà lára akitiyan rẹ̀ láti ṣe ìdápadà ààbò tó péye tó ń ti àlàáfíà láwọn ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ 15 táwọn kọlọ̀rọ̀ sí ẹ̀dọ́ ọ̀hún ṣe àkọlù sí nípínlẹ̀ náà. Àwọn àwòdàdà mú jábọ̀ lórí kí ni èròǹgbà àwọn olùgbé ìpínlẹ̀ yìí lórí ìdàgbàsókè náà léyìí tí àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní sọ wípé kí ni ìdí tí ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Katsina gbà lérò láti dóòlà àwọn ọ̀daràn tó ti gbópan níbi ìwà àìbófinmu yìí lóríṣiríṣi bí ìwà à ń ṣekú pani, à ń fipá báni lòpọ̀, ìjínigbé tó fi mọ́ bíba dúkìá jẹ́ àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ látọwọ́ ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ ọ̀hún èyí tí wọ́n ti bójú àánú wo àwọn tó ti nípa lára àwọn ìwà burúkú yìí. Àwọn olùbánisọ̀rọ̀ mìíràn tó bá ikọ̀ ìròyìn iléeṣẹ́ yìí sọ̀rọ̀ sọ wípé ìròrí ọ̀hún jẹ́ èyí tó dára níwọ̀nba ìgbà tí ìjọba bá ṣe ìtúsílẹ̀ àwọn agbésùnmọ̀mí láti fi ṣe pàṣípààrọ̀ àwọn ará ìlú tó wà nínú àhámọ́ ajínigbé pẹ̀lú àfikún wípé àìní ẹ̀kọ́ tó yè koro náà ń pakún ìwà ọ̀daràn gbogbo. Wọ́n ṣàfikún ọ̀rọ̀ wọn wípé ìtúsílẹ̀ ìbójú àánú wo ni fún ọ̀daràn ló pín sí ọ̀nà méjì èyí tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú dáradára àti ìdàkejì rẹ̀. Wọ́n tẹpẹlẹ mọ́ wípé ìjọba lè bójú àánú ìtísílẹ̀ wo agbésùmọ̀mí níwọ̀nba ìgbà tí wọ́n bá ní ohun kan tàbí kejì láti gbà lọ́wọ́ wọn láàrin àkókò péréte. Ẹ̀wẹ̀, lára àwọn tó bá ikọ̀ ìròyìn wá sọ̀rọ̀ gbarata lórí ìròrí ìbojú àánú wo àwọn ẹni ibi tó ń pamọ́ rẹ̀ iléèwé ọ̀hún, èyí tí wọ́n ti sọ ilé ẹ̀rín di ọ̀fọ̀. Wọ́n wá rawọ́ ẹ̀bẹ̀ síjọba ní gbogbo ìpele láti wọ ojútùú sí àìrájájá ààbò tó ń bá orílẹ̀-èdè yìí fínra. Ìrántí wà wípé ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Katsina lọ́jọ́ 12 oṣù kínní ọdún 2026 kéde ìpinnu rẹ̀ láti ṣe ìtúsílẹ̀ àwọn agbésùmọ̀mí tí iye wọn tó 70 lẹ́yìn ìpàdé ìgbọ́ra-ẹni-yé láàrin ìjọba àti àwọn kòlọ̀rọ̀sí ẹ̀dá wọ̀nyí. Mínísítà fún ètò ààbò ilé wa Christopher Musa ti sọ wípé àwọn ihò tó wà lẹ́nu ibodè orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ló ń ṣokùnfà lásìgbò àìrájájá ààbò nílẹ̀ wa. Musa léde ọ̀rọ̀ yìí lákòókò tó ń dáhùn ìbéèrè àwọn oníròyìn, jẹ́ kó di mímọ̀ wípé ìjọba àpapọ̀ ló ń sa ipá rẹ̀ tó fi mọ́ mímọ ògiri ẹnu ibodè àti ìlọsíwájú ìmọ̀ ẹ̀rọ láti fi dẹ́kun sísọdá lẹ́nu ibodè, èyí tó fún àwọn agbésùmọ̀mí ajínigbé tó ń ti àwọn ọmọ tí ń sọ ilé ẹkún di ọ̀fọ̀ tó ń sọ lé ẹ̀rín dọ̀fọ̀ láǹfààní láti má lè ṣiṣẹ́ láabi jákèjádò orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Ó ṣàfikún ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ wípé orílẹ̀-èdè yìí tó bá ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ nílò ààyè tí iye rẹ̀ tó 4,000 kìlómítà láti mọ ògiri ojú korojú, léyìí tó ní ìmọ̀ ẹ̀rọ nìkan ni yóò ṣe ìrànlọ́wọ́ ní kíkún lórí àbójútó ìgbésẹ̀ èyí tí yóò sì tani lólobó tó bá fura sí èyíkéyìí ìsọdá tí kò bá òfin mu. Ó ṣàfikún ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ wípé àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè mìíràn tó ní ẹnubodè tó gún régé láti ṣàmúlò ìròrí yìí láṣeyege nípasẹ̀ irú ìgbésẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹ̀wẹ̀, Musa wá sọ di mímọ̀ wípé ìjọba nípinnu láti ṣiṣẹ́ papọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn agbègbè tó wà lẹ́nu ibodè wa gbogbo lójúnà àti rí dájú wípé àwọn olùgbé mọ ojúṣe wọn nídìí àgbọ́yé ipá láti fòpin sí ìwà ìgbésùmọ̀mí àti ohun gbogbo tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú ìwà ọ̀daràn. Ìgbésẹ̀ láti fojú wo ìgbéléwọ̀n, ṣíṣe àbójútó àti wo èsì lórí ìrúnpárúnsẹ̀ àwọn àkànṣe iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n ti ṣàgbékalẹ̀ rẹ̀ láwọn ilé ẹ̀kọ́. Àjọ Agile nípínlẹ̀ Kwara pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ Olive Community Development Initiative ṣàgbékalẹ̀ ìpàdé àpérò ọlọ́jọ́ méjì lórí ìṣàtúngbéyẹ̀wò àwọn tó jẹ́ olùkọ́ni tí wọ́n ti ṣáájú ṣàgbékalẹ̀ orúkọ wọn jákèjádò ẹkùn ìdìbò mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta nípínlẹ̀ yìí. Fatima Mohammed wà ní ìlú Ìgbaná tó sì jábọ̀ ìròyìn wípé Agile pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ Olive Community, ìyẹn àjọ tí kìí ṣe tìjọba, lórí ìgbésẹ̀ àti lọ́wọ́ àwọn tọ́rọ̀ kàn pẹ̀lú àwọn tó jẹ́ olùkọ́ni lórí àwọn iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n ti ṣàgbékalẹ̀ láwọn ilé ẹ̀kọ́ eléyìí tí wọ́n fi sun àti dóòlà àwọn àkànṣe iṣẹ́ náà láàrin ọdún kan. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ tirẹ̀, olùdarí àkànṣe iṣẹ́ Olive Community Development Initiative Olúwatóní Adélékè sọ di mímọ̀ wípé àwọn ṣàgbékalẹ̀ ìpàdé náà láti fikùnlukùn pẹ̀lú àwọn tọ́rọ̀ kàn lójúnà àti gba èsì dápadà lórí àṣeyọrí tí àwọn ti ní láti àtẹ̀yìnwá. Nígbà tí òun náà ń ṣàtìlẹ́yìn fún ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀, Aminat Yusuf sọ di mímọ̀ wípé àtúngbéyẹ̀wò náà jẹ́ ohun tó jẹ́ dandan, bẹ́ẹ̀ yóò dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ̀rí máa jẹ́mi nìṣó àti ìdúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìtọ́sọ́nà láti tún mọ irú ìgbésẹ̀ tó tún kàn lórí irúfẹ́ àkànṣe iṣẹ́ náà táwọn ti dáwọ́lé kó tó di àkókò yìí. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ tirẹ̀, àwọn olùdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ àwọn àkànṣe iṣẹ́ náà kò ṣàìpẹ̀kẹ́lu àwọn àṣeyọrí tó ti ṣáájú wáyé láwọn ilé ẹ̀kọ́ gbogbo táwọn ilé ẹ̀kọ́ ọ̀hún, èyí tí àwọn àkànṣe iṣẹ́ eléyìí tí ó ti wáyé. Àwọn aláṣẹ àjọ agùnbánirọ̀ ilé wa ti sọ wípé òun yóò ṣàmójútó ìlànà tó dáyàtọ̀ gédéǹgbé láti fi mú àwọn ọmọ agùnbánirọ̀ tó jẹ́ àkàndá. Àtẹ̀jáde gba tọwọ́ adarí ètò ìròyìn àti ìpolongo lájọ ọ̀hún Caroline Embu sọ wípé adarí pátápátá lájọ NYSC Ọlákúnlé Nafiu ló lòdì ọ̀rọ̀ yìí lákòókò ètò ìṣáájú ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ fún àwọn ọmọ agùnbánirọ̀ ọ̀wọ́ kìíní ikọ̀ ọdún 2026 tó wáyé nípínlẹ̀ Plateau, èyí tó ní ìlànà tuntun ọ̀hún ni wọn yóò ṣàmúlò rẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ìgbà tí wọ́n ti wà nínú ọgbà ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ títí tí wọn yóò fi parí ètò sísin ìlú bàbá wọn fún ọdún kan gbáko. Ó tẹnpẹlẹ mọ́ pé ìròrí ọ̀hún ló wà lára àlàkalẹ̀ ọ̀nà fún ìgbáyégbádùn àwọn ọmọ tó ń sin ilẹ̀ bàbá wọn tó láfojúsùn iyì àǹfààní dọ́gbandọ́gba tó ń ti lọ́wọ́ sí. Nafiu wá rọ àwọn olùkópa láti ṣe ìgbélárugẹ ìròrí òye wọn èyí tí yóò lápa rere nínú ìṣiṣẹ́ wọn lákòókò tí wọ́n ń sin ilẹ̀ bàbá wọn lọ́wọ́. Àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ilé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga fásitì Ambrose Ali tó kalẹ̀ sí Epoma tí wọ́n ti fi sínú àhámọ́ ọgbà ìṣàtúnṣe ẹni tó wà ní Ubiaja látàrí ìwọ́de ìfẹ̀hónúhàn tó wáyé ní kòpẹ́kòpẹ́ yìí tí wọ́n ti rí ìtúsílẹ̀ báyìí pẹ̀lú àwọn mìíràn. Àtẹ̀jáde gba tọwọ́ akọ̀wé ìròyìn gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Edo gómìnà Monday Ọpẹ́bọlọ̀ ìyẹn Patrick Ebojele sọ wípé àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ọ̀hún ló wà lára ènìyàn 52 tó wà nínú àhámọ́ látọwọ́ ilé ẹjọ́ gíga tó fi ìlú Benin ṣe ibùjókòó lórí onírúurú ẹ̀sùn tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú ìdigunjalè, bíba dúkìá jẹ́ tó wáyé látàrí ìfẹ̀hónúhàn tako àìrájájá ọ̀rọ̀ ààbò tó wáyé lọ́jọ́ Sátidé tó kọjá lọ yìí nílùú Epoma. Ẹ̀wẹ̀, gómìnà Ọpẹ́bọlọ̀ ti pe ìpàdé pẹ̀lú akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tí wọ́n tú sílẹ̀ wọ̀nyí tó fi mọ́ àwọn ẹni ọ̀rọ̀ kan mìíràn lákòókò ìpàdé abẹnugan tó wáyé ní ilé ìjọba tó wà nílùú Benin níbi tí ó ti ṣàmúdájú ìṣèjọba rẹ̀ sídìí ìfikùnlukùn àtúntò tó ń ti ìdàgbàsókè ilé ẹ̀kọ́ fásitì ọ̀hún. Gómìnà tó fi ẹ̀dùn ọkàn rẹ̀ lórí làásìgbò náà sọ wípé ìṣèjọba ọ̀hún ló ti ṣe àlékún iye owó ìṣiṣẹ́ ilé ẹ̀kọ́ náà lára akitiyan rẹ̀ láti fi ṣe àtúntò ọ̀rọ̀ tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú ètò ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Ó wá dẹ́kun àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tako lílò wọn láti máa fi da omi àlàáfíà agbègbè ọ̀hún tàbí ìlú rú àti pàápàá rọ̀ wọ́n kí wọ́n láfojúsùn lórí ẹ̀kọ́ wọn kí wọ́n sì máa gba àlàáfíà láàyè nígbà gbogbo. Abala eré ìdárayá ẹ̀kọ́ òṣojú mímu fún ikọ̀ agbábọ́ọ̀lù orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà ìyẹn Super Eagles níbi ìdíje ilẹ̀ Áfíríkà léyìí tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ ní orílẹ̀-èdè Morocco ìyẹn AFCON 2025. Orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà ló pàdánù ìfẹsẹ̀wọnsẹ̀ tán ṣubú yakata lójú ìjà nígbà tó di àkókò wòmí kí n gbà sí ọ tá a mọ̀ sí pẹ́náìtì pẹ̀lú orílẹ̀-èdè Morocco tó gba àlejò ìdíje ọ̀hún èyí tó wáyé lọ́jọ́ Àlárúbà tí í ṣe ọjọ́ 14 ọdún 2026. Àwọn tó jẹ́ olólùfẹ́ bọ́ọ̀lù aláfẹsẹ̀gbá nílùú Ìlọrin tí ń ṣolúìlú ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara tó bá ikọ̀ akọ̀ròyìn wa sọ̀rọ̀ wọn kò ṣàì fi bínú wọn ṣe bàjẹ́ hàn lórí ìfẹsẹ̀wọnsẹ̀ náà. Olùjábọ̀ ìròyìn wa Abdullateef Ahmed jábọ̀ ìròyìn wípé ìgbésẹ̀ náà ó jẹ́ ohun tí ó bà àwọn ènìyàn pàápàá jùlọ àwọn tó jẹ́ olólùfẹ́ bọ́ọ̀lù aláfẹsẹ̀gbá lọ́kàn jẹ́ bí ìdíje African Cup of Nations 2025 ọ̀hún bí ó ṣe ń lọ lọ́wọ́ nílùú Morocco. Ikọ̀ agbábọ́ọ̀lù Super Eagles ni wọ́n ti fọwọ́ òsì júwe ilé fún gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìfẹsẹ̀wọnsẹ̀ ọ̀hún tó ń lọ pàápàá jùlọ lábala tí ó jẹ́ ìkángun sí àṣekágbá tí a mọ̀ sí semi-final nígbà tí wọ́n ń wá kò pẹ̀lú orílẹ̀-èdè Morocco nígbà tí ìfẹsẹ̀wọnsẹ̀ ọ̀hún tí ó ń lọ lọ́wọ́. Ìfẹsẹ̀wọnsẹ̀ ọ̀hún ló parí pẹ̀lú àmì ayò 0-0 eléyìí táwọn èèyàn fi ń dágunlá pé wọ́n jẹ dónọ̀tì parí ìfẹsẹ̀wọnsẹ̀ ọ̀hún ní abala ìgbésẹ̀ kínní àti ìgbésẹ̀ kejì nígbà tó tún di àfikún ìfẹsẹ̀wọnsẹ̀ ọlọ́gbọ̀n ìṣẹ́jú orílẹ̀-èdè méjèèjì tún kùnà láti mi àyò wọn ilé tí wọ́n tẹ̀síwájú nípa à ń jẹ dónàtì wọn nígbà tí ìgbà tó di abala wò mí kí n gbà sí ọ orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà ni ó pàdánù níbi gbà sí mi kí n gbà sí ọ eléyìí tí orílẹ̀-èdè Morocco fi àgbà hàn wọ́n pẹ̀lú àmì ayò 4-2 ẹni tí ó jẹ́ asọ́lé fún orílẹ̀-èdè Morocco Yazin Bonoun òun ni ó jẹ́ akin ọmọ tí wọ́n tọ́ka sí gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹni tí ó gba gbogbo ògo alẹ́ ọjọ́ náà níbi tí ó ti mú pẹ́náìtì Samuel Chukwueze àti Bruno Oyemachi ṣùgbọ́n nínú ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ alátìlẹ́yìn àti olólùfẹ́ bọ́ọ̀lù aláfẹsẹ̀gbá nílùú Ìlọrin tí ń ṣe olúùlú ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara gbóṣùbà káre fún àwọn agbábọ́ọ̀lù orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà àti akọ́nimọ̀ọ́gbá wọn fún iṣẹ́ takuntakun eléyìí tí wọ́n ṣe níbi ìdíje African Cup of Nations eléyìí tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ ní orílẹ̀-èdè Morocco pàápàá jùlọ bí wọ́n ṣe wákò pẹ̀lú orílẹ̀-èdè tó gbàlejò ìdíje náà ìyẹn Morocco tí a kò bá rántí orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà báyìí ti ṣubú yakata ní ojú ìjà sí ọwọ́ orílẹ̀-èdè Cameroon orílẹ̀-èdè Morocco ṣùgbọ́n tí wọ́n sọ wípé ẹni tí ó jẹ́ atọ́kùn orí pápá referee ní orúlé adápá kan tí ó dápá kan sí ìyẹn ni pé ó fi ara mọ́ orílẹ̀-èdè Morocco ju orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà lọ gẹ́gẹ́ bí èrò àwọn tí ó jẹ́ olólùfẹ́ bọ́ọ̀lù aláfẹsẹ̀gbá ní orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ló máa wákò pẹ̀lú orílẹ̀-èdè Egypt tí ó bá di abala eléyìí tí a mọ̀ sí third place ìyẹn ni tí ó ṣe ipò kẹta eléyìí tí ó wáyé ní ọjọ́ 17 oṣù kínní ọdún 2026. ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ ìròyìn ti àṣálẹ́ ìní kò ní jù báyìí lọ Fatih Rasheed abomire orókè.
Thank you for the news and languages from the Nupe and Yoruba desk. And this is how we wrap up our news for tonight. Thank you very much for being a part of it. For my co-caster, Funke.
We thank you for joining us, and we do hope that you join us tomorrow morning for another fresh episode of the news. Ahmed Kwasana.
Waji, again, ma sabi ni gawa mo ya yene jikina abuna ni sai sunga na ye foro na so so ale area e sai la ja Ahmed Kwasana tanpa fún Suleiman.
Yeah, ṣe ti tẹ̀lé wa láti àtàárọ̀ akọ̀tún ìròyìn tí ó bá tún di aago 8 ní alẹ́ ọ̀la tó máa pàdé wa níbi tá a tún mú wá bí a ṣe máa mú wá fún yín. Ìgbà tó bá fi di ọ̀la ńkọ́ Sulaiman Ọlánrewájú Àmọ̀dá ní orúkọ tèmi orun ayọ̀ lásùn ó dọ̀la.
And I'm Fatima Rashid. Thank you once again for being part of our news. Do have a very lovely night.